local all morning. The Fox 61 Morning News starts now.
Good morning. A powerful nor'easter bringing us rain, some snow, and wind on the way today. We will time it all out for you coming up.
A deadly crash in New Haven overnight. We're going to have more details on this ahead. First, at 6 on Friday, we begin with a weather watch alert. Good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm Erica Arias.
And I'm Keith McGilvery. Let's get right to it. As I know I walked to work, it was raining, perhaps different conditions for folks depending on where you live in Connecticut. Really, location is what Matt was saying yesterday as we take a live look at the radar here across the state. Fox 61 has you covered. Live team coverage of this morning as we're live and local from 4 to 11 a.m. from the Northwest Hills all the way to the shoreline and spots in between.
All right, Matt, you've been talking about it all has to do with location.
Yeah.
What you're going to get, how much.
And often we talk about location as to what part of the state you are. This time we're talking about how high you are in elevation. Because down here in Hartford, where it's significantly lower, obviously, than the Litchfield Hills, we have just rain. Got to head up pretty high into the northwestern hills before it turns into snow. We do have rain and snow, and the winds are going to be picking up today. The snow, we've downplayed just a little bit of it. We're looking for maybe 3 to 6 inches at most. Maybe an isolated area gets around 6. The rainfall will be impressive across the state. That'll be around an inch. And then the winds may lead to some power outages later on, especially with that heavy, wet snow. That's a combination that may lead to trouble for the northwestern hills and along the immediate shoreline where there's a wind advisory in effect. But look at the numbers, 41 degrees. Nah, you're not getting snow there. In Hartford, 44 New Haven, 45 in Groton, even Torrington at 34. I've been watching the numbers in the Litchfield Hills all morning long. I haven't seen anything that's gotten significantly cold. That said, with the moderate snow, especially right here, it has accumulated. We'll go in closer with the live Doppler, show you Route 44 up to the north, Norfolk, Colebrook, there's 44, Winchester and Winstead, down over just north of Torrington. Goshen is where we're really focusing on the snow. Then you head down in elevation and the snow, it doesn't stick, it turns to rain, and then obviously it doesn't become as much of a problem. Up to the north, however, the ski resorts are loving this. The Berkshires are getting a significant amount of snow, so it's just a couple of miles to the north of us where things change over. Rainfall continues throughout the afternoon. There'll be a couple of moderate bands in there, and you notice the snow machine, where it is snowing, doesn't turn off anytime soon. So we do keep those numbers pretty impressive for the most part. Into the evening is when we'll see the final activity wind down. For the rest of us, it's light rain now. Rain later on, temperatures remaining steady around 40 degrees here in Hartford. We'll talk about the potential for trouble post-storm coming up in just a few minutes because there's 1 or 2 things to look at, especially in the short-term forecast. I'll have that for you coming up. Let's get a check on the roads because Lauren Zenzi's been watching the roads all morning long, and on a morning like this, it's definitely something you need to know.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. Good morning to you. Good morning, everyone. Do want to mention we do have a couple of crashes and closures out there, so we're going to get right to New Haven right now, where we do know exit 3, the off ramps on the north and the southbound side are currently closed. Like I said, the north and the southbound off ramps at exit 3 over in New Haven are closed as of right now. They have turned the cameras right now to show that it really isn't impacting traffic on the roadways at this point. You just can't get off exit 3. Unfortunately, this is due to a 2-car accident that we now know there was 1 fatality. So they are working diligently with the reconstruction team out there and New Haven police at this time. Over in Warren, there is a down pole with wires in both directions. Route 341 is closed. Like I said, down pole with wires is causing this incident. We did have some construction over in Hartford on the westbound side of I-84. As you can see, it is moving now. We do have the construction that has cleared, and overall things are looking good. Just some light to moderate volume out in the roads. Just be sure to give yourself plenty of time, keep your distance, and put the distractions down to make sure that you can get to where you are going on your morning commute safely and on time. We'll check in again coming up in the next half hour. For now, Keith and Eric, I'll send things back over to you.
Thank you, Lauren. Nice to be back this morning. 6:04. This storm impacting many parts of the state, depending on where you live. As we've been pointing out, could be snow. Other parts, at least for me in Hartford, it was certainly rain.
Yeah, we have live team coverage for you this morning. Lindsay Kane is live in the Fox 61 Storm Tracker. She's heading to the Litchfield Hills right now. Lindsay, are you starting starting to see some flakes where you are?
Hi, good morning. We're starting to see some flakes, but it really depends on what town you're in Litchfield County. So I'll show you a live look at the roads right now. This is Route 4, and we're heading to Goshen right now. So we're seeing some flurries, but not as many as we were seeing when we were in the New Hartford area just about an hour ago. So what we're seeing right now is just a little bit of a mix of some snow and rain, but very, very light flurries. So again, this is Route 4, but you can see that some snow is actually sticking to the road. This is very much snow covered. So if you are out and about in this area this morning, you definitely want to take it slow because there are a lot of slick spots on the roads. So the good news is that we've seen a lot of plow drivers out and about treating the roads. So that is good as this continues to develop over the course of the morning. But earlier this morning, again, I mentioned we were in New Hartford, and that's really where we saw the most amount of snow. We were up at some higher elevation, and then right when we came back down, it was a neighborhood with a lot of hills, higher elevation. Right when we came back down, it switched over to rain again. So we've been to Winstead, and now, as I said, we're heading to Goshen. So we'll continue to keep you updated as to what we're seeing out here. But I know, like Matt was saying earlier, it really just depends on where you live as to what you're going to see out your window this morning. So we'll be sure to keep you updated on air and, of course, online on Fox 61 News throughout the morning. But for now, Keith and Erica, back over to you.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. We will certainly check back throughout the morning. Well, the storm bringing some snow to the northwest corner, but the rest of the state seeing rain with the chance of flooding later today.
Fox 61's Brooke Griffin live for us in New London this morning with a look at conditions there. Brooke, new to the team, but you have the Fox 61 rain and snow gear, fortunately, this morning. Good morning.
I think I have every single piece of gear that they gave me on my first day on my body right now. And unfortunately, I still feel very cold and very wet. But you know what? That's the life of a reporter. Let's take a look at the conditions here in New London. We are currently at the New London City Pier. This is, at this moment, maybe the strongest winds and rains we've felt since we left the station in Hartford around 3 o'clock this morning. The wind has really picked up in the last 10 minutes or so. I bet it looks like a stronger band is currently moving through the area, the downtown area of New London. Now, with that being said, though, it's not something that's not manageable if you are out and about and getting up and getting on the roads at this point this morning. I'd say you are going to hit a little bit of puddling, a little bit of ponding on some of those lower lying roads, especially here along the coast. But it's not something that you're not going to be able to deal with or get through. You can still get to school, you can still get to work, and all of those things that you need to do on your Friday morning. I will say you may want to make sure you have an extra raincoat, have extra waterproof gear, maybe wear those rain boots today, because along the coast we do have a coastal flood advisory along with a wind advisory, and I know that you can definitely see the rain hitting me in the face here. It's not something that you guys want to deal with heading off to your work, your school, whatever you're doing. So go ahead and just wear those layers. It is a little bit chilly with that wind advisory here in New London and along the coast, but you guys will manage. You will be able to get to work and school without too many problems as long as you take it slow. Live in New London, Brooke Griffin, Fox 61 News.
All right, Brooke, thanks. Yeah, get back in the trucks. Try and stay dry while you can.
Yes.
Appreciate that. All right, well, we do have some breaking news to tell you about here. 198 Eversource customers are without power right now. Now, most of them are in Plainfield with 93, followed by New Milford and Weston. As of right now, no United Illuminating customers are without power, so some good news there.
All right, reminder, be sure to download the Fox 61 News app. Closings and delays there. Right now, Winchester Public Schools closed. Regional District 7, Regional District 1, 3-hour delays in District 3 and Torrington as well. So there's a lot of good information there. What will happen right down to your own neighborhood. A good resource to track the storm, including the exact forecast down to where you live. If you lose power, it is also a good way to stay connected with us right from the palm of your hand.
6:09 right now, and a Fox 61 follow-up for you this morning. A man charged with conspiracy in connection with the death and disappearance of Jennifer Dulos is now a free man for the second time. Kent Mawhinney is accused of aiding Fotis Dulos in the disappearance and death of his estranged wife, Jennifer Dulos. He will now be on house arrest again after he was arrested back in October after police say he tampered with his electronic monitoring bracelet. Dulos' girlfriend, Michelle Draconis, is also charged with conspiracy. Mawhinney and Draconis have pleaded not guilty to their charges. Meanwhile, a man facing charges in connection to a homicide in Waterbury. Police say Clarence Rhodes of Waterbury was arrested in Florida. He's facing charges now in connection with the death of Xavier Pellet on Halloween. Pellet was shot on Willow Street in Waterbury. He later died at the hospital. Rhodes is being held on almost $2.5 million bond. And a police officer in Old Saybrook is on paid leave this morning after he's accused of using a computer database to look up information about a woman that he was interested in. 30-year-old Josh Zarbos was arrested, and he was charged with third-degree computer crimes. The arrest warrant says that Zarbo ran the woman's license plate over dispatch while he was outside Walmart on Black Friday. Now, he eventually found her name and sent her a follow request on Instagram.
If it had not been for someone listening to the dispatch radio, this likely would never have been picked up. So it shows an alarming lack of oversight.
And Zarbo was free this morning on $5,000 bond.